Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. I'm Nye, and we are continuing our Lost runs, with the hopes of actually getting a successful run. I'm not going to take God's Flesh as a first item. It's not a good item that I feel, kind of will carry a run, so we're not going to go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and just continue doing our stuff. So question for you guys, do you guys ever find that you're haunted by things? Like, are there ever these, mental, things that you just can't get past? That, for a very long time, you think of it and you're like, man, I keep on thinking of that and I don't know why, something like that. That's sort of haunting. Not, an apparition or a ghost, something like that, but some decision you've done or something you've seen that you just can't let go of. Thankfully, I haven't had very many of these. I do suffer from earworms a lot, and by that I mean like music or lines or something like that of movies. And usually, what happens is it'll be something that I can't remember the exact line from, and my brain goes, "Okay, well, until you remember it, we're just gonna play it on repeat until you figure it out." And even in some cases, in that, like with that, I'll still have to kind of think on it until I can figure out exactly what the line was. Sometimes for me, it's not enough to know, that's blah 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 from such and such a movie. In some cases for me it's okay, kill you. I'm gonna see if the Joker is actually worth it today. Okay, I can actually, without a problem, I can say no to this, so hopefully this will count. Okay. But, so it's, earworms are one thing, and it will be something I just have to think about, but it'll kind of haunt me for a while. But what I'm thinking of particularly in this case is, what was the name of this movie? It was this really older, I think it was mid-90s, I think it was a Disney movie with, Jonathan Lipnicki, that, he had a best friend who was a vampire. And for some reason, that movie stuck with me for a while. I don't know why it made such an impression, but for a while there was I didn't have a thing with vampires, but I believe there was 2 instances where I was entranced by someone who I guess I thought was a vampire. The first instance I can think of is there was a therapist that I had to go to when me and my dad had a falling out, and he had this extraordinarily odd picture on his wall. And I can barely remember it now, though I remember every time I went to his office, I would see this picture and it would entrance me. Like, I would just be stuck. I'd be looking at this picture and I'd just be like, there's something about this picture. I swear to God it's a vampire. Or something like that. And all I remember is it was kind of a white, ghostly figure that was just kind of standing in a room. I think there was some sort of furniture in the room. But I swear, I could see in my head what that ghostly figure was. And for a while, actually, I was thinking, does he have this in here so that way you have to talk about it? And that way you say something about this figure of some sort. And it was, it was just weird. And so for a long time, I've been kind of curious if I could ever see that picture again, if it was a mass-produced thing, or if it was a thing just for him. Because I would love to see if I have the same reaction to it now as I did, when I was, I forget how old I was at the time, probably 11, 12 years old. But I'm kind of curious if I would have the same reaction to it now, if I'd still be just as entranced, and I'd look at it and I'd go, wow, this is a thing. And then the other situation was just a boy I knew at school when I was in elementary and middle school. He was my age, around my height, kind of more of a slender kid, had a very pale complexion, very short cropped hair, and I think what probably caught my attention was his canines were a little bit longer than usual at that age. So I caught that and I went, oh my God, it's a vampire. And that's the last time I can remember seriously thinking it was a vampire. Not just, it wasn't just me going, okay, I've seen this movie recently and things are reminding me. I swear to God, I had that image of him in my head and going, there's vampires at my school. And what got really interesting about it is that I could not shake that. I was fascinated. And, I was always the shy kid, but for him, I swear I was kind of keeping my distance just in case, because I was worried. But there was also that fascination of, well, what if he is? Maybe, you know, maybe he and I will talk and we'll become friends. And it was the movie situation, 100%. Like, it was, I had that movie on the brain. But it was still just this weird, you know, weird thing that I could not let it go. Like, it was something that was just stuck in my head and would not vanish. And thankfully, you know, it's something that I've kind of grown out of. I don't really have that issue for the most part nowadays. I don't have to, I'm not really concerned with stuff like that. Stuff, you know, if it gets stuck in my head, it's an earworm now. But there was that fascination. And there are some things nowadays that, you know, sometimes there's things I just can't let go. Like, it's not in a obsessive way, but it's something like I'll just be thinking about it a lot, and it'll be like, you know, man, I wish I could get this out of my head. You know, people once known and lost, things like that. And I think some of it's nostalgia, you know, a wish for better times, things like that. And everybody, I think, gets that once in a while. You know, friends that you lost that you kind of wish that, you know, either something happened to them and that's why you can never see them again, or you guys had a falling out and you remember the good times. You know, there's always going to be stuff like that. And some of those, they just sit in my head and they just won't go away. And I kind of like have this feeling of, well, you know, this sucks. I really wish I could get this out of my head. And then sometimes it's kind of a fond thing. That kind of part of me is like, well, I need to get this out of my head because I need to get back to whatever I was doing. But I still have that kind of sitting there. It might be, you know, a game that I'm sitting of, and, oh, that was a mistake. Might be a game that I'm thinking of, and I'm like, man, you know, that was a good game. I really enjoyed that game. I wish I could play that again. And I'll have to go hunt it down. I'll have to figure out what it was. And then once I figure it out, I have to go play it. And, you know, it'll be a huge thing. And in some cases, it might be something... Okay, this I'm totally cool with. Exciting. Doubly exciting. Okay. So we have somewhat of the same situation that we had last time. I'm able to... kind of on command, I'm able to make cards. Now I'm able to hold on to more than one, though, so it's a little bit of a more exciting feature. Okay, let's let him do his thing. We'll launch at him from up here. Hopefully we'll get, like, I don't know, Pyromaniac or something. Okay, I really dislike the fact that you're here again. I said no to you the first time. I don't want to see you again. Go away. Good news is, the item that he's offering is terrible, so I don't have to feel bad about saying no. Awesome. I can go. And relax, knowing that I have a ton of stuff at my disposal. And we have an extra 2 bombs. I've not found my secret room yet. It's probably there. No? Interesting. I don't think it can be on the left. No. Okay, well, we'll move on. We got plenty of money. It's gonna be a good day. But yeah, do you guys have that issue? Do you get stuff stuck in your head that you just can't, that just won't leave? Minor fascinations, you know, people that you're like, man, you know, that guy on the bus was so weird. I wonder what his story is. I wonder what's going on with him. I feel as if that's something that probably happens a lot in today's day and age, especially because you have the advent of, you know, stuff like YouTube and stuff, so you can go and look this stuff up and see if you can remember this stuff. You have it, it's a lot easier nowadays to go and figure out, kind of what was going on. What is this thing that I remember? You know, IMDb and things like that make that a lot easier than they ever did. So I think that's probably incredibly helpful, and I think that it might lead, you know, we also have more information that we're constantly soaking up, which I think might also lead us to having more of that fascination, because it's something like we just see it vaguely for just a little bit. Now, of course, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this. I ended up having this problem kind of a long time before that. So, for example, there's, you know, there was movies and such that I saw as a kid, and that nowadays I would love to figure out just what the hell they were. one good example, there was this movie I saw as a kid, and I don't remember the details on it. All I remember is that one of the main characters, if not the only main character, was some sort of frog. And I remember that in one scene, he dove deep into some sort of water to save some lady frog, who I'm assuming was his, soon-to-be wife or something to that effect. And that's about all I got. Now, I do know that when I was a kid, I was probably like 6 or 7, and this movie affected me. And as a kid, I was at a pool, and at the time, I was an incredibly strong swimmer. And I was shown off for some girl. Keep in mind, I was really young. Shown off for some girl, and I was diving into the pool from the edge she was probably 4 or 5 or something like that. Like, we were both very, very young kids. And I would try to dive into the pool to snag her when she was on this, like, raft thing, this inflatable pool toy, and pull her back to shore, and then she'd, like, kick herself off again. And it was just this little joke that both of us had. And it was, this was just a thing that I was doing. And I was, thinking I was the same as whatever frog this was from this animated movie. And nowadays, for the life of me, I don't know what this movie was. And I would love to know just for the sake of knowing. So it's stuff like that. Or another good example would be, there was a movie I saw as a kid. It was an animated movie, and I saw it on television with my cousin. And it was about a group of people on Mars that were, one was like a witch in a witch school and some sort of, orphanarium, and the other was the daughter of this amazing, mayor. And there was a lot of greed in the city on Mars underneath their air dome, and there was some sort of prophecy made by something called the Messenger, which said that bad things were about to happen, and that the Mars people, not Martians necessarily, but the Mars people were going to make this, really big spaceship that they were going to try to take to escape the issues on Mars, and that a lot of people would die, and that the witch girl, it was her job to stop this, or if she couldn't stop it, to do what she could. And bad things happen, and somehow her mom and dad, she gets them into space to save them, because the ship, as it takes off, destroys the air dome, and everybody under the dome suffocates. So somehow she gets her mom and dad into space, which is, personally, I think it's even worse, because now they're stuck in space in spacesuits, and they're going to die no matter what, and they get visited by their daughter's, soul, showing that she has also died, and, she takes the souls, and she goes to, Earth, where she learns that, okay, I'll just walk into that shot. She goes to Earth, and she, sees the, the cavemen, and I guess that the implication is that she and all of the souls of Mars inhabit the cavemen's bodies and rebuild society on Earth, and that leads to us. And for a long time, I was trying to figure out what this movie was, because I was so entranced with it. I was very, very young, watched it with my cousin, could never find it. Turns out it's not even as good as I was hoping it was going to be. It's some sort of environmentalist anime called Eyes of Mars, EYES, and it's kind of well known, but it never, it was a paid for environmentalist thing that was paid for by the Japanese government. It wasn't all that good. Never had like a DVD release, never had a digital release of any sort. So it's only available on VHS. I'll probably never see it again. But it was kind of an interesting thing to know, and that had me fascinated. There's a music video that my cousin got. Again, long time ago. I want to say this is around the time that Nintendo 64 came out, because I think he got it, I think, for like Christmas around the same year. No idea what the music video was. All I remember is that there was some sort of thing, and I'm piecing together that it was a music video. I don't even have confirmation that that's what it was. But there was some sort of robot who was flying down some sort of tunnel over and over and over. That's all I know, and it was computer generated. But at the end, so now I'm sure it looks quite dated, but at the time, this was like a big deal. Like, it was a huge thing, and my cousin was so damn excited. So you know, it's just something I have in my head. It's like, well, I really want to go figure out what that is. I want to figure out what it is I'm seeing in my head and just relive it. At the very least, I'll know. It's kind of obnoxious, to be honest with you. So that's obnoxious finding the item room last and, you know, the item room sucking or something. Let's see what's right here. I'm tempted to just... Oh, good. My little unicorn. Just gonna hit the reset button. Nothing tying me to that run. Nothing tying me at all. Not gonna do the onion. It's just bad. Thank you, Wrath. I appreciate it. I'm really tempted to start using the D4 on some of these runs, even though I know that I'll just die without what I have, without the shield. Now, I mean, keep on, I say that, and I have beaten the game without Holy Mantle in the past, but we are also trying to do a run that kind of necessitates me not having access to deal with devil items, which are some of the things that kind of carried previous runs for me. So I'm trying to kind of reconcile that fact. At the same time, using the D4 gets rather tempting from time to time. And the hope that I can roll myself into a better run, because frequently you get that. Now, the thing is, though, a lot of the transformations that would be useful from rerolling the D4, we already have some of those effects. You know, we already can fly. I'd have to have at least one Guppy item, or one Deal to Devil item in general, to be able to roll, like, into Guppy. So that's a thing that I have to be cognizant of. So I'm not sure if it's even worth it to reroll, you know? But why not? This sucks. Let's reroll. And I'm just going to reset, because I don't want that. If I hadn't gotten Judas's Shadow, I would have been tempted. But Judas's Shadow is just such a bad item on this run. Okay, let's not get hit by that. It really is. It's a bad item. It's gonna cause me to become Judas, because we know I'm gonna take a hit. So I'll just end up becoming Judas, and then I'm just gonna die, and or I'm gonna become Judas, Dark Judas, and I'm, you know, because I'm just gonna die. It's gonna happen, and that's just gonna result in me. It's gonna result in me just being pissed. Already gonna hit the reset button. Not doing a tears down. Not gonna do... Okay. That's interesting. That worked out well. What we got here? Okay. This is a run I can start with. I am okay with this run. Let's make this happen. Like, I don't even want to consider re-rolling this run right now. Just grab that and move on. Man, some of these rooms set up for you to fail. The damage up from Death's Touch is not being felt very well. Oh, this is good. Real good. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this stuff real quick. It's been a lot of time reading as usual. I've already told you guys about this. But I'm right now decided that I'd go from the super fantasy of Danita K. Paul's world to the sci-fi world of Foundation. And I enjoy the Foundation series just because of how it really tries to piece itself together and almost fairy tale like tell a cohesive multi-part story. It's mostly like it's a collection of short stories, at least the first book or two, telling the history of the Foundation. And what I did is I decided to read through Prelude to Foundation and Forward the Foundation before I read Foundation General, because, you know, those books tell the history of the Foundation. And the last time I read Forward the Foundation, I didn't even know the book existed, you know? It was one that I had not even heard of before. And I'd read most, if not all, the Foundation series prior, so I knew of the Foundation series. I had read most of it. I had read Prelude. Prelude was the first one I ever read. And I had never heard of Forward, and I was kind of curious what the story was. And I gotta say, I don't like the book now. I think the problem is that a lot of the mystery and majesty of some of the Foundation stories is lost because of Forward. I think you know, we have the okay, so that's a thing. Not worth it. I think that it kind of ruins not only some of the characters, and I'm thinking specifically of like Doors, but there's some things of the Foundation series, like the location and the mystery of what the second Foundation is. And For the Foundation outright tells you not only where it is, at least in some respects, For the Foundation tells you exactly where the second Foundation is, but also what it is. You know, it makes no bones about it, and the mystery of that particular short story about what the Foundation actually is just seems kind of ruined because of that effect. So, I don't know, it's something I wish I could like, and I kind of find myself not liking it. And there's also just some of the characters, they just lose their, we're gonna go for Mom's Box here. They kind of lose their appeal in For the Foundation. Harry comes across as extraordinarily ineffective in the book until the later stages of the book, especially towards the end. And psychohistory comes off as Deus Ex Machina more than an established science, the way the game was trying to build it in the game. The way the book was trying to build it up. You know, they really were setting this up as, Asimov was really setting up the psychohistory as a science, as something that, you know, had laws and rules, and a lot of the book just seems to not care, and it seems to be really focusing on more, you know, this is other stuff going on, these are things that have nothing to do with it. Yeah, it was I understand it was establishing Harry Seldon as a character, and it was kind of showing his motivations, showing who he was as a person, which, you know, since he's a major force in the Foundation series, I can kind of understand that. I think that was the entire point of Prelude and For the Foundation, because from what I understand, those books came after, like, they were made after the Foundation series, hence Prelude, as opposed to it just being, like, the first book. Do I want Daddy Longlegs? So, what I find interesting is, you know, it's focusing on him as a character, and in Prelude Foundation, I can get behind that. The establishment of his character as someone who doesn't think it's going to work, and then he has to be forced into it, it ties in another one of the Asimov series in, you know, it ties in the Caves of Steel series and the iRobot series. So I kind of like that, especially because, you know, Asimov does that again in later on in the Foundation novels, as he really goes into what's important about the Foundations and things like that. So I really think that works well. But there, part of me is sitting here going, well, then you kind of ruin it. You have Doors, who's an incredibly strong character, does a lot of things, and then at the end of at the end of Prelude, there's hints as to her nature and what makes her incredibly special, and we hint at it. At the very, very end, there's a couple hints, and that's what it should have been, like hints and not making it clear this is the situation. I think gives us more mystery as readers. There's more to enjoy. And then one of the major plot points of Forward is that here let's take out the mystery of it. That here is exactly what it is. And I'm not going to say that it wasn't done well. That reveal was done extraordinarily well. It set it up well, but I think it was one of those types of I'm trying not to spoil it, even though it's a 40-year-old book. I think my issue with it might be that as well as the reveal was done, it feels like it was done just for the sake of doing it, there was a whole anxiety thing on Selden's part at the end of book 1 over this information, and it's kind of revealed to the world, and only at the very end, and only kind of in specifically for the method that it's done for. So it's kind of, enemies are added for the sake of being enemies, and they're dispensed with immediately in the book. Like, there's no lasting villain or tension. The book 1 had all this lovely tension that it had for such a long time, with stuff like, Ito Demerzel, and oh my god, he's chasing us, and oh god, we screwed up again, and will, psychohistory ever be a thing? Oh my god. Not gonna do that. That's useless. So book 1 had this amazing tension it built up, as it set up for, the reveals of the book. And then I feel like book 2, and of course I'm talking like book 2 is in the reading order, not necessarily a print order. But book 2 just kind of ruined some of that. The characters became, they went into it a little bit too much. We understand that, Raish is gonna become a character. He's gonna be adopted. Book 1 makes that pretty damn clear. We don't need too much details on it. And then, he does some important things, and then he's no longer in a character we really have to be concerned with. Which is just, it's kind of a weird decision, writing style-wise. So, I was having a little bit of trouble really enjoying the book, partially because I'd read the book before, I knew what was coming, and I kind of watched the plot twists, and watched their foreshadowing, with a little bit of apprehension, going, I know what's going to happen, and it doesn't feel any better now than it did when I first read the book. So, and it pains me to say this, because, who am I? So I'm just, I'm a reading plebeian. That's about all I am. So who am I to criticize Isaac Asimov, who's one of the, if not the, best sci-fi writers of all time? So it's kind of one of those who am I to criticize. But it just feels like this was... It feels like Asimov really just was trying to close off some doors and to fill in some plot holes that he felt was there that may or may not actually have been... may or may not have actually been as big of a deal as he may have thought. So I kind of, it was a thing. So now I'm actually in the Foundation books. I'm actually working on Foundation itself now, because I swear I've read them all, but if I did, I feel as if there was a book missing, so I'm gonna reread with the reading list next to me, just to make sure, because it felt like the series ended in a way that wasn't quite right. And I think that might have to do a little bit with the author's death, and I think there's actually books that were done kind of with the blessing of the Asimov estate to finish off the series, though I'm not 100% sure on that. So it may be that I have to read those, and if I do have to, I don't know if I'm going to. it is not typical that I want to go in and read the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really want it's stepping into someone else's house. You know, your best friend lived in this house all his life, or you lived in this house all your life, and good friends have now taken over the house, and they now live there, and you step in and you went, well, you know, I remember this, and this is not how I remember it to be. This does not feel right. And that's what it feels like to me when it's the, you know, Foundation series as, you know, approved of by the Asimov State, as written by such and such. You know, one example I can give you. Okay, this sucks. I don't have a bomb. Oh, god damn it. That was my fault. I didn't go into the bomb. I didn't even think of it. I didn't even think of the fact that I didn't have a bomb. Crap. But it's, you know, it's just kind of weird. I know the Hitchhiker's Guide series was there's at least a book 6 now, because Ian Colfer wrote book 6 with the blessing of Douglas Adams' wife. And, you know, part of me is sitting there going, you know, yes, I can't remember if I've said this before, but yes, you know, book 5 did end in a really abrupt and very strange manner that not everybody was comfortable with, but that is how the author ended it. That's how it stopped. I couldn't speak for the author and say that that's not how he wanted to end it. He was planning on, you know, doing a book 6 on his own, and his death interrupted that. I can't speak for him on that. But that's where it ended. That's where it's over. At least, you know, there was no cliffhanger, per se. This is where the book naturally ended. So it's just one of those weird things. I'm sitting here going, okay, is that, you know, people say like, I've seen the reviews on the book. People say it's good, and I've heard good good reviews and bad reviews, but people say the book's good in general. It's just kind of weird to, you know, have like Dead Man's Pointy Shoes going on. So, you know, I don't know. So I'm going to reread through the series and kind of, you know, make my own judgment when I get there as to how things have gone. But it's most assuredly it's assuredly weird. That's the best I can come up with, is that it's just weird having some of these things come up. To go through and to reread and read some writing that was done, you know, after the original was already over. Oh, didn't even need to place that down. Go ahead and blow that up. And we're going to leave. I'm not going to pick up experimental treatment because it never treats me well. You know what? Why not? Let's see. And nothing good. Okay, we have the key piece. I'm really hoping this is going to be a deal with the angel here. I'm also really hoping I can get Mom's purse, if possible. I don't know if it's going to be likely, because we've been having a lot of trouble making up enough money to do anything with. But we can try. Only up to 10 cents here. Hey, look, it's a heart. We can be a Balchinian. Also, finally got back into Final Fantasy XIV. And I gotta say, I don't mind this game. I don't know what it is that stopped me playing in the first place. I think it was just that I was doing a lot of recording. Now that I think of it, I think I was just doing a lot of recording at the time. And that was just taking up mountains of time, and so I just didn't want to pay for it. And I think a credit card of mine got lost or something, and that was what was responsible for paying for it, because for some god-awful reason, Squeenix refuses to do PayPal. Because I would do PayPal. I would pay by it. It'd be easy. So I think my account got canceled because my card got canceled. Which, you know, it happens. I'm not too aggrieved of it, because I wasn't playing at the time anyways. But, man, I wish I had left that heart there. But yeah, so I'm getting back into it, and I find it enjoyable just to sit and do some of the crafting. I'm not even doing anything special. I'm just, kind of letting the crafting do its thing with me. You know, I'm normally a person who likes to be kind of optimal with stuff that I do. You know, I like to take risks, I like to do things, but I don't like wasting time a lot unless I can think of a really good reason. So, you know, I'll try to break the game, but it's because I'm trying to break the game. I'm trying to, you know, beat it in this different way, which is why it takes me longer to beat it. So, what I find interesting is, you know, as I'm playing through, right now I'm going through the crafting classes, and they all wear the same armor. They wear the crafting class armor, and all the crafting classes care about the exact same stats. So as long as you can, just keep that set of armor, you know, you're golden. You don't have to worry too much, and you can use the same armor for every class, and just, you know, kind of level them all up equally. And what's more interesting is that every class, for the most part, there's one or two of the crafted classes that don't follow this rule, but just about every class also contributes to the armor. So, you know, the woodworker, you know, is what typically makes the shoes. The cloth crafter typically makes, you know, all the armor itself. The blacksmith is typically what makes all of the class items, so on and so forth. So as I'm leveling them, I'm also creating the armors that I'm going to be using on them as they level up, which is kind of fun. What gets even more fun is that I've decided that I want to have high-quality armor. I want to have the +1s of all of this armor kind of as I go through, which I've been told is a severe waste of my time. Because I'm not going to be in the armor long enough for it to matter, which may or may not be true. But again, I have like 6 classes that are all using this exact same set of armor. So I'm not... damn. So I'm not 100% sure I agree that making this armor is not the best use of my time, because I have 6 classes that are going to use this armor. They're all going to use the exact same thing, at least until I think level 50 is when it's actually going to change over. So, you know, I'm sitting here going, okay, well, it may take me a while. And what's also interesting is that half of the armors I'm making, half the stuff I'm making as I'm working on perfecting it, I can sell the other armors. Have I mentioned that I'm hating Brownie right now? So as I'm trying to perfect and get my +1s, I'm making other armors that I can then sell to the general population. And it gets kind of silly is because I'm making this armor, and it's decent armor, and some of it will sell for, you know, 5,000 gil, which is reasonable. It's massively up-priced, but then again, not everybody's willing to actually craft, so I think, you know, it's a time investment thing. But some of the same armor, it's the same, it's the same stuff. Like, I'm building it on the same, list as the other stuff, but some of it only sells for maybe 40, and I can never tell what the difference is. And the stuff that sells for 40, in my opinion, is typically more useful than the stuff that sells for 5,000. So I'm having a really hard time with it. But what I appreciate is that when I do sell something for several thousand gil, typically it pays for all of the other nonsense I'm doing, all of the crafting that I'm having to do to get my +1s, all the money I'm having to spend on materials is generally... That sucked. It's generally paid for by the one piece that sells well. And then also, it's something I can do while reading, because some of the armors that I have to craft, I have to, I'll need to go back and, make myself some more, cloth string or something like that. And so in order to make cloth string, I have to kind of just sit here and just kind of churn it out. It might take 8 minutes to churn out as much as I'm actually going to need. So I can just pull out my book and start reading while I'm churning out this stuff. So it's altogether it's working out for me. I will eventually get back to the more normal crafting, or no, not normal crafting, but more normal classes like Paladin, which is my main class. But that feels like it's going to be an eventually thing for me. I will eventually get there, but for now I'm kind of enjoying my time. Okay, you suck. That was stupid. I'm just kind of throwing my way through this game. Nope, do not want. I want the Rib of Greed. I want to get one last shop in before we're done. Still waiting for that other, after I completely and utterly threw back there and forgot to bring a bomb with me into the angel room. Now I need another deal with the angel. So hopefully that's going to be a thing that happens in the near future. This one's probably going to be a skeletal hand if I had to make a guess. Yeah. What do we got in here? Anything? There's Mom's purse. Okay. So that is on my list of things that I want. Just have to get it. Kind of wishing that I hadn't killed the Demon Beggar now that I have this Chariot card. Okay, we're looking for money. Hopefully we'll actually get some in the near future. Hermit card. Unfortunately, we're reaching the end of the level here, and I'm not getting any more money. Okay, and I have to take this bomb. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to... It's okay. I'll just... No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. If we get a deal with the angel, I have to have this bomb for the deal with the angel. But if we don't get a deal with the angel, I can instead use this bomb to search for a secret room. Or probably just bomb the donation machine is more likely. Okay, this is just going to take a while just because Mom is not consistently putting her foot down. And also, our tiers are terrible. Our damage is terrible. This is not a particularly good run, unfortunately. Okay. I used to think that noise in the background, that noise, because I heard it so rarely to begin with, because generally we had good runs in the early times in Afterbirth. I used to think that indicated that you were passing the 20-minute mark and that you were no longer able to get the boss rush. Now I know it's just part of the music, but it's just kind of this thing that I thought. Okay, this is taking a long time. That's not going to last too long. Almost done. Awesome. Crappy deal with the angel. Kind of as usual, but... Just got to be slightly off. Okay. And I just walked right into it. And that's going to cost us our deal with the angel. I hate myself. And that was my bomb, too. That was pointless. Okay, I'm upset about that. I was even gonna say that I need to sit kind of off-center to him, and then I got hit with the first blast. Well, hopefully we'll get another one. Unfortunately, our items this run have been fairly terrible. If you look at the item list just on my right-hand side, we have Infestation, which does nothing on us. We have Safety Pin, which in general is just not good. BFF would be nice, but we have no good buddies to use it for. Poison is not really doing much to us, because the only enemies we care about, because we have Death's Touch, are specifically bosses that are not affected by that. We have the Heart, which we can't use because we're the Lost. We have Cupid's Arrow, which is not useful because we already have Death Touch. We have the Body, which is not useful because we're the Lost. So this run has just, in general, not been a good run. It's kind of a shame, but... Unfortunately, you can't trap him in the combo anymore, but you can get him pretty close, depending on how you do things. Okay. So we have some bombs. Can at least see if we can get ourselves Mom's Purse, and at least have a minor benefit there. There we go. Okay, well, that's good. So if nothing else, we'll have that. And really, it is feeling like, if nothing else. Sure. Unfortunately, none of the items that we have right now, neither of the two trinkets that we have right now, are actually all that good. Rib of Greed ceases being useful as of the end of this floor, which we're on right now, and the missing page doesn't do anything unless we get hit. So we're gonna want to get rid of both of them. Shouldn't be too hard to. And now if we get you know, something like, I'm really hoping for the Cancer Trinket. Like that's the big upgrade. Cancer Trinket and Curved Horn. If we can get those two upgrades, we will be in a fantastic spot. Because Mom's Box doubles the effectiveness of those given upgrades. So even though we do not have any really amazing upgrades ourselves, those alone, when combined with Mom's Box, could make the major fantastic upgrade I've been searching for. Unfortunately, I do still have to get them. It's not a foregone conclusion. So we do have the Joker card. I don't know if that's going to result in much. I mean, this is, again, something that I really need to hopefully get some upgrades for, because I'm having such trouble fighting these bosses. I might go in there. So yeah, this is that room that kills me over and over and over. Because I keep on going for the wrong enemies first. Matchstick, which I don't need. We're hoping, guys. I mean, this is a thing. There are certain things that we're hoping for. You can just stand right there. If I could get some batteries, I'd be a much happier person than I am right now. Yeah, money is not incredibly important to me. Okay, remember, these shots go a little bit of the way into the rocks, so I'm not 100% safe. I've got to be careful in that room back there, too. Purely, actually, because it has that trinket in there. Okay. Got another charge out of that. Still have our Joker card, which is good. Okay, let's backtrack. We will avoid... Oh, I got Curse the Maze. That's right. Okay, so it's somewhere else. We don't know where it is. Okay, I mean, we're going through the trinkets. We're getting rid of them. Gradually, just takes a while. Okay, there's one of the trinkets I need. And lest you think otherwise, Curved Horn is a pretty okay. Curved Horn is a pretty huge damage upgrade. At this point, sure. Okay. Very tempting to get the Book of Belial. But with the massive damage increase we get by having Mom's Box, especially if I'm able to get I mean, you're noticing how fast these guys die as compared to how fast they were dying. With the massive damage increase and DPS increase, if I can get the freaking cancer trinket. Okay, can we stop it? Thank you. Man, I wish I could play with you. Yeah, with the massive increases, it's just not a good idea. We want what we have. And unfortunately, if the Book of Belial guaranteed a deal to devil, I'd consider it just because of our need for deal the angel at this point. But it no longer guarantees it. It's actually a pretty small increase in chance nowadays, so it's just not worth it anymore. We do have the Joker card in hand, and that could help. I think we have one more to go. Yep. But that's not going to be a hard fight. Let's not get killed in this room. Okay. And we're going through all of these extra trinkets at a fairly reasonable rate. Let's go ahead and just drop a couple of these just in case we got a crawl space somewhere. Nope. Okay. Go ahead and fight our boss, the Bloat. So we get probably one of the worst potential bosses. I anticipate that we're probably going to lose at least one life here. I don't have very many left over, unfortunately. Oh, great. Well, there's the one life lost. I don't know how many more we actually have to lose. Okay, can you not... Oh, god damn it. He's gonna jump. Okay, you keep doing that. Yeah, do that some more. Come on, come on, come on, die, 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 die. Oh, shit, 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 shit. Okay. He's dead. We're alive. No deal with the anything. So we'll go. The angel still refuses to be good. Okay, we just have to be off-center. Off-center. When he attacks. And we have a chance to get a Deal with the Devil next floor. Or even potentially a very good Deal with the Angel next floor. My other... No? Oh, good. It was the wrong angel. Has to be the red one. God, the amount of throws I have had on this game. Okay, we did get Cricket's head, so that's always good. Now, this could get us a deal with the Angel. Right here. Okay, I can't move that thing. There we go. Now, Cricket's head's a huge upgrade. Tears down sucks, but our tears weren't much anyways. Addicted is actually a problem because that doubles the damage dealt to me in this room. Okay, we good? We good. Don't need that. Don't really care about you guys. I'm gonna give the key beggar a chance to give me stuff. I don't know what he can give me necessarily, but I need... Okay, let's just get out of this room. We still apparently have charges on 9 lives, which amazes me. But I'm not going to argue against it, obviously. But we have to hope that we get the... There we go. Okay, our tears are not amazing, but they're better than they were just a minute ago. All yours. Doesn't help me. Also doesn't help me. So our base damage is fairly high, which I think has something to do with how fast these guys are dying. Because I have a I'm not entirely sure, but I think poison damage is based in part on base damage. Man, how many keys do you need to pay out, bud? I'm giving you a lot here. At this point, I have no intention of using the box any longer. We have the run that I want. You're the run that I want. Okay. Well, that was that. Hello, Greed. Get some bombs. Okay. Well, we'll go fight Mom. Should be an enlightening... Okay. Enlightening experience. Okay. So this shouldn't be too bad. Even though our attack speed isn't all that amazing. Our damage is pretty good. Which helps. Okay. Let's not take damage here. Let's take damage here, apparently. Are we done? That was it. So that was my last life. And that was just unlucky, unfortunately. Unfortunately, our lives have not really amounted to much. Okay. This time I'm able to get around it. Deal with the angel, please. No, it's a deal with the devil. And it's not even good. So we'll continue to say no to that, and hopefully this next floor will give me my solution. I mean, we have damage. We don't have attack speed, unfortunately, but we do have damage. Not quite as much damage as it could be, admittedly. We do have a fair amount of it. Sorry, bud. What am I being offered? Lusty Blood is not something I'm against. So that can increase some damage. It's not the big deal item. But on a room like this, for example, all of a sudden I become a god. Oops, sorry. Especially if you guys keep on spawning those. I don't know if you're going to or not, but hey. The more of those you spawn, the more powerful I become. I don't know why I looked there. I just felt like, hey, this is the spot you should go. Okay. Still kind of exploring our way around this floor. And everybody dies in the same time. Really looking for these keys so I can get this key beggar to pay out. I need to stop picking them up is the problem. And again, you could say I need to stop using keys right now because I only have 4 keys and the next floor is going to be the chest. Where we're really going to be hoping for Dad's key. That's the key. That is the singular key that we very badly need, I say, as I use another key. Completely ignore the previous thing that I said. Okay, come on. I think another thing I've been doing, as I've been enjoying time between each recording, because I have to have something to do between each recording. Another thing I've been doing is I've been playing Overlord. Been doing it pretty quiet, pretty like, you know, just slowly, with no actual goal in mind. But I do enjoy that game, partially because I'm a huge fan of Pikmin, and we all know that Overlord was a Pikmin fanboy. But partially because that, partially because I love how it doesn't, or like it messes with the fine, okay. It messes with a lot of the standard tropes. You know, the bad guy being the good guys being the bad guys. Which good guys are, you know, affected, stuff like that. It's very it enjoys itself in a fun tongue-in-cheek way, while at the same time, you know, going, hey, this is what led to their downfall. So while it's still being tongue-in-cheek, it's also kind of being serious and going, hey, you know, too much of this has led to the downfall of these people who were once good and fought people like you. Can we stop fighting freaking Monstro 2, please? I'm getting tired of him. Like, I understand he's just kind of a standard boss at this point. I need this. Sorry. I understand he's a standard boss at this point, but I'm just tired of seeing him. Just gotta be careful in this room. Those guys are killers. Oh, okay. Well, we're probably dead. Oh my god, I do not know how I didn't die there. Always gotta be worried about that one hit, you know? What's this? Luck down. Yeah, I needed that. Needed that too. For serious. Okay, I'm okay with this fight. This is not actually a bad fight, this one. It's gonna last a bit, but... Okay, so, things are not looking all that good right now. Which sucks. Let's try here. And that's all I'm willing to try. Let's go fight Isaac. Well, this may be another just standard win. I threw in a number of ways, which caused this. And actually, I'm about to throw again. Yep. I give up. Okay, guys, I'll see y'all later.